early voting started in the New York mayoral election.
Shout out Zohran.
Just a few days ago. Shout out Zohran Mamdani, winning the Hiddo endorsement, if you ask me.
And that's big.
And that's big. Endorsements, lots of talk about those recently. But either way, Zohran Mamdani, early voting is open, and Cuomo is just in the 11th hour desperately, and I mean desperately, trying to do anything that he can to sink this guy's campaign and get himself elected the mayor of New York as the disgraced former governor.
Yeah, and he is emphasis on desperate.
Huge emphasis on desperate. I cannot emphasize enough how desperate Andrew Cuomo is being.
It's starting to seem like dudes like him, anytime it looks like they're losing, just bust out the most vile racism they can think of.
Just turn on the racist button.
Yeah, they just hit the racist button. And of course, Zohran has been the sort of target of a lot of anti-Muslim, Islamophobic hatred throughout this entire campaign.
That's the Oppo research on him, is that he's Muslim.
He's Muslim and he goes to nice restaurants sometimes.
Exactly.
And he's got a $2,300 apartment in Astoria.
True.
So,
and college thing.
Yeah, well, and he should, as Cuomo said almost verbatim, he lives in an apartment that a poor person should be living in. So I wanna play this clip from Andrew Cuomo. This is genuinely some just absolutely vile stuff, in line with what a lot of the right wing has been saying about Zohran. The right wing and like the centrist Democrats, I suppose.
Yeah.
Cuomo went on a radio show just a couple of days ago here, and the host had some interesting remarks, and Cuomo had some interesting follow-up. So I think we take a listen.
Any given morning, there's a crisis, and people's lives are at stake. God forbid another 9/11. Can you imagine Mamdani in the seat? And there's
I could. He'd be cheering.
It's another problem.
Like, the premise is already absurd. The premise of can you imagine Zohran Mamdani as the mayor if another 9/11 happened is already absurd. Already leaning on anti-Muslim sentiment.
100%.
Only for him to fall all the way on to the anti-Muslim sentiment not even a second later.
Yeah, like Cuomo isn't the one that said he'd be cheering it on, but he said that'd be another problem or some shit. Like, what are we doing?
Come on, man. You can't do that.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be like disqualifying, like a disqualifying statement for political office in 2024. But no, it's just okay and chill now.
Yeah.
And I'm like too online for pointing out the obvious Islamophobia in the Democratic Party for all this shit.
Yeah.
Like, because like, not only has it been like, okay, Hakeem Jeffries, he did come out and he did the endorsement. Chuck Schumer is still refusing to endorse. So many Democrats are still refusing to endorse. It's an infighting moment for the party. But I don't see the centrist Democrats, that faction of the party, come out here and say, like, no, we don't like his policies, but the Islamophobia is bad. They're not defending it. They're just passively letting it happen.
Yeah. No, there's no revolt over Andrew Cuomo saying something like this when he's clearly like the moderate wing of the party's choice for winning over Zohran in this case, even though he's not running as a Democrat right now. It's absolutely fucking absurd. There has been an absurd amount of comparisons between Zohran Mamdani and 9/11. Literally just saying if he wins, 9/11 is going to happen again. It's fucking insane.
Literally. And it's like there's even been like the other Zohran controversy this week that's been going around is he had that speech where he talked about how his aunt?
Yeah, his aunt.
Where his aunt felt uncomfortable wearing her hijab around on the subway and didn't want to go on the subway after 9/11. And then a litany of right-wingers on Twitter were like, really, your aunt was the one who was the victim of 9/11 because you couldn't wear her hijab or go on the subway? It's like, buddy.
That wasn't the point. He wasn't saying that she was the true victim of 9/11, but that Muslims were made to feel suspect post 9/11.
Which is just a fact.
For who they were, because people, the American people and politicians, were generalizing about the type of people who did the attacks to the group broadly.
Yeah.
And that's bad.
And it seems like it worked. Like, it seems like you still got that, like, going on now.
Yeah.
God.
It's just like you for like the entire right wing to look at Zohran and say 9/11-2 is gonna happen because this guy's mayor is just crazy.
Yeah.
Like there was a political cartoon I think like Larry Elder put out.
Oh no.
And it was a plane that had Mamdani on the side and a hammer and sickle next to it running into a tower that said New York City.
Brother, like, you come the fuck on, man.
Like, what are we serious?
They couldn't be more on the nose. And it's like, it's crazy watching the attack span from like the furthest far right all the way to centrist Democrats leaning on the same Islamophobia. I mean, it's not necessarily like the same Islamophobia all the way, but the only difference between the Islamophobia that like people like Andrew Cuomo are engaging in and people like, I don't know, neo-Nazis are engaging in is whether or not they're going to attack him over finger food. Like, come on, man. That's what's separating you from the Republicans on the race issue or the Islamophobia issue in 2024 is whether or not you're willing to attack somebody over eating food with their hands.
And it's like, if Zohran was just a white guy socialist, they would not be invoking 9/11 this much.
Absolutely not.
They just maybe there would be a question of how would you deal with an emergency like 9/11 just because it's New York City. You know what I mean? But they would not be invoking it this much in comparison to Zohran if it's just because he's a Muslim guy.
Absolutely.
And the amount of xenophobia and Islamophobia that's just accepted across the board in this country is diabolical.
Absolutely, dude.
It's insane.
It's fucking nuts. And from centrist Democrats.
Yeah.
From centrist Democrats, but these are the same people who like voted for the Iraq War.
Yeah, and these are the same people whose major hang up about Zohran is that he doesn't fuck with Israel. A mayoral candidate in New York City.
I love it when our mayors are focused on foreign policy.
What are we doing, man?
It's so good.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Welcome.
We're here talking about a little bit of election news.
We got to do some election news.
And then at the back half of this episode will be an interview that we conducted with one of the representatives from the organization behind the effort called Rank My Vote here in Michigan.
It's pretty good.
Attempting to establish a ranked choice voting system for Michigan elections. That'll be the second half of this episode. But the first half of this episode will be election news, talking about Graham Platner. Talk about Kamala Harris a little bit. And we got a couple of other things sprinkled in there. But we wanted to give you a little bit of an episode before we get into the interview itself, just because we're
trying out a new format here to see if you guys will actually like our interviews that way. And I mean, it's good.
Before we get into the rest of the show, I'll remind you, of course, Patron. Become patron.
Hit the Patreon, guys. Come on. You would have got this episode early. You'd have got all the episodes before earlier, and you'd get all the episodes in the future early.
Yeah, Patron, become one.
And this is the episode where we're talking about Graham Platner.
That's true.
I will remind you, because I imagine we're talking about that as soon as we finish reading these Spotify reviews, that when we talked about Graham Platner last week,
oh my God,
we had an opinion. And honestly, when it comes to something like that, I feel like you can't be too cautious. And I feel like maybe our opinion did err on the side of caution, and my take is like developed in like the hours after, like the days after like recording that.
Yeah.
But like a day after recording that take, that was about Reddit. The fucking Nazi tattoo drops.
Like immediately after, and not even just like an obscure one.
Yeah.
A totem cough.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
It's not great. So we're going to be talking about Graham Platner, and we're going to be offering a full-throated endorsement of Graham Platner.
Unconditional support. My unwavering support to Graham Platner.
Type shit I've seen some leftists on.
No, that's been the like mood. And like, I'm like a centrist on the issue. I'll explain later, but oh my God.
So we'll be talking about that, talking about Kamala Harris, and we've got some breaking news that I don't know if you've seen today.
Oh,
but I'll save it until the Kamala Harris section. Let's get to the 5-star reviews.
Breaking news for the Kamala Harris. Yeah. Let's get to these 5-star reviews. This first one from Miss Mary 304. 5 shiny gold stars. This was my fave interview you've done, focusing on regular people and what we can do is so important. Love the show. Condemn all forms of political violence, especially condemn Big Brother. From a young Midwesterner who hopes to one day live in beautiful Michigan, hopefully with all my bodily autonomy intact. Huge. So and that's a huge condone on that review for saying this is the best interview we've done, because it might just be the Christy McGillivray interview from last week. Please go watch it.
We're reading the reviews from that episode right now. We won't be getting to the reviews from the episode that dropped on Wednesday at any point, I guess.
Yeah, guys, tough shit. Like,
whatever. Also, the breaking news obviously won't be breaking for those of you listening on Friday. Sorry, become a patron.
Hey, sorry, freeloaders.
Anyways, next review from Jenna. 5 stars for my favorite pod. I've been a fan for a few years now, and of course, have left 5 stars before. But I wanted to leave a comment to say thank you for keeping me informed. You guys give realistic and yet somehow optimistic takes that never miss. And I've been inspired to get involved in my home state of Arizona.
Let's go.
Keep up the important work, and as always, I condemn all forms of political violence. I was just in the great state of Arizona, and I'll say it truly is a desert. There's no grass in that place.
Is it really?
At least, and I was in Phoenix and I was in Tucson, and there's just no grass.
Damn.
I kind of hated it.
Yeah, no, that sounds awful.
Yeah, incredibly dry.
I fuck with green.
I fuck with
green
like money.
Green like money. Green sweatshirt. Green like money. We drop the things. Like, green is cool.
Yeah,
it's nice to go out and see a lush landscape.
That's what I'm saying.
R.I.P. Arizona. Maybe that's why they produced Kirsten Sinema.
Oh, so true.
Maybe she was jaded by the world around her, what she saw. You know.
I wish we had her in Congress.
Oh, that'd be so good if only she'd have stayed. But yeah, shout out you. Hopefully you're being represented and your representative isn't the one that's being held up right now by Mike Johnson, because
so true.
Most likely when this episode comes out on Friday, she is still not confirmed as a representative. So
it's been many weeks.
It's been like, yeah.
They've just been without representation.
Like almost like a month.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't be allowed.
Got to protect those pedophiles, man.
Whatever. This next one from Ellen Ojala. I hope I said that right. 5 stars. I condemn all political violence and time zones. The Monday mandate is Tuesday telefax here in Finland. I've joined Patreon after listening for 2 months and decided you deserve my money more than Spotify, which I finally canceled. Cancel culture strikes again. Keep up the great work. P.S. I'm not up to date with the tariff tango, hence subscribing to the #1 tertiary news source. So I'll get a €100 bill with my So if I get a €100 bill with my postcard, I'm sending them both to my non-parasocial friends, Jeremy and
I ain't paying
Gage.
that. I ain't paying that.
I ain't paying that. Sorry, this is not duty-free postal.
Yeah, sorry about that. You gotta pay. You gotta pay your duties. This next one from Mark Tessie, 5 stars. Even though I'm a millennial doomer, I love tuning into Hiddo because it is a breath of fresh air from all the negative news media that I'm exposed to. I'm 30 years old and live with my 92-year-old grandma in Connecticut. I love my grandma and take pride in assisting her in daily life to ensure that her golden years are relaxing. The only negative about living with her is that she watches Fox News all day, every day. Listening to you guys while I'm at work helps me keep sane. Keep up the good work, fellas. Yeah, what was once a heartwarming story turned sour.
And you know, at that age, you just let them.
Yeah, you just gotta let them.
You just let them watch Fox News.
That's fun. That's fun.
Praying for you. This last review from May, 1,000 out of 5 stars. Peak interview. I condemn all political violence and heavy condemnation of DTE. This is an FTM 7 compliant podcast and interview.
What is FTM?
I'm assuming female to male.
Oh.
I'm assuming it's a cheeky little joke.
Female to male 7 compliant podcast. You know, NSPM 7, NSPM means something,
It's not something to joke about or take lightly.
It's not. It is not.
It's not. It might lock me up, guys, but it won't because we're compliant.
I think we got to talk about Nazi news.
Yeah, we've avoided enough pushing it to like Thursday. And I mean, fuck, who knows what else is going to come out of that campaign. I feel like we're doing you guys a favor by not putting this on the previous episodes so that more news doesn't come out. Because even as we record, like, news is actively coming out about like campaign manager stepping down. Apparently there's word of him handing out like an NDA and offering $15,000 to sign it.
Yeah.
As one person who left the campaign said, but Platner's campaign is saying that it's actually just a severance, standard severance or whatever, but like that's a pretty big severance. I don't know.
I think the NDAs were given over to Politico, though. That'd be quite a thing to get wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
I don't know if the $15,000 portion was given to Politico. I know the NDA is like, it's like a thing.
The document I meant was like given to Politico, and that's what they were
no. I'm saying what I think is at contention is whether or not there was actually a $15,000 fucking bonus offer
hush money, essentially.
Hush money for signing the NDA, which is the most damning part of all of this. Well, frankly,
I don't know. I feel like the most damning part of all of this is Blackwater Mercenary. You know what? Because that was the red flag for me when it was pointed out to me a couple of weeks ago. Is like Graham Platner comes on the scene in what, like May, June, something like that. We talked about it. He seemed exciting because the rhetoric was good. White dude from Maine talking about left populism. Love to see it. You know what I mean? But then I find out he's a Blackwater mercenary, and I'm like, well, that's a little concerning.
Because it's like you gotta question the kind of guy that signs up for the worst one.
Yeah, like
Blackwater.
I don't question too hard the people that sign up for the military, especially like infantry. A lot of young guys get pulled into that. Some people that aren't even like coerced by poverty into the military will join because of a number of different pretenses that are presented to them. And maybe they go through and maybe they form some regrets about their military service or get some type of frustration with the government. That's totally normal. Exactly. And I think we should be accepting of that kind of personal transformation.
Like, with most soldiers, it's kind of like you are not immune to propaganda kind of thing. Like as much as we try to be like, I don't know, intelligent and dissect and be critical consumers of the things around us, nobody is immune to propaganda. This being like a soldier, being a Marine, signing up to do that is like one thing. That's not something I view as like a damning portion of your character, especially if you come out later and have good politics. But
but then I learned about the Blackwater thing. And it's like, well, okay.
It's like a tick up.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Like when we're talking about candidates, we try to consider all the different aspects of their life and their rhetoric and what they've done and form a picture about them and determine how we feel, right?
Yeah.
It's very much like not a scientific process, but it's sort of we're checking boxes in our minds and trying to figure out if we support this person. I see Blackwater, massive red flag. There's some plausible deniability there because it's like a lot of soldiers when they come back don't have work, and being a Blackwater mercenary is kind of the same thing. But also, like, you don't have to do Blackwater mercenary shit.
Yeah. It just kind of
like you can do something else.
Like being like a Blackwater mercenary feels like a step up from just like re-enlisting again. Because like, why don't you like re-enlist again? Like, if you, I don't know, man. I don't know too much about the military. I just know that Blackwater's done a lot of very bad things.
Yeah, they're a private security force. They're mercenaries.
Like joining a PMC sucks. Like becoming a mercenary just kind of like sucks.
Yeah.
So like that is already like, okay, well,
especially a mercenary for Blackwater.
Yeah, the worst one.
Blackwater specifically responsible for many atrocities. Shout out Trump for pardoning that one guy. So that's a red flag to me. And then we get the Reddit story. We talked about that, like 3 episodes ago at this point?
Yeah, and it's like with the Reddit story, like I feel like my opinion has changed a little bit. I feel like maybe, I don't know if I was like a little too hard on what it was when we first talked about it.
Well, relative to Nazi tattoo.
Exactly. That's kind of how I feel now too. Because it's like, I'm thinking about it and it's like, God, although some of the things he said were like awful, like especially the comments about like sexual assault in the military. When he said the shit about like, if you don't want to get assaulted, don't get drunk. It's like, that's horrible. Like that, condemn.
100%.
But like part of what I'm thinking about, and I'm thinking about people who have changed and the capacity for change within individuals, is that that's like unfortunately an opinion that regular people have.
Yeah.
Like that's unfortunately a regular dude opinion. And I think that's more so a condemnation of like the state of the American male than like one individual guy who then came around to espouse good politics and condemn those things.
And he was willing to come out and say, like, I was wrong, I was stupid back then.
Exactly. He didn't defend it.
Yeah,
like, and that's where it comes from. He didn't get defensive about it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
if you're willing to come out and condemn previous statements that you've made and make an explanation for how you were wrong, then I think that we should, take that with some amount of like respect and understanding.
But then
the Nazi tattoo.
Then the Nazi tattoo comes out. And it's like, it's like,
and it's not just a Nazi tattoo. The story goes, according to Platner, that I think in 2007, he was deployed out in Croatia. Him and some friends on base got drunk, and then they went out into a tattoo parlor and just randomly selected tattoos. And he happened to get a Totenkopf, which was a Nazi SS logo.
Yeah, he's saying he just picked Flash off the wall.
Yeah, and okay, the first point he makes is like skull and crossbones, military guys think that's cool.
Which is true.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, like, it's true.
If there was any part of the world to accidentally get a Nazi tattoo, it's Eastern Europe, right? You know what I mean? Like, that makes sense.
It lines up.
But then he had the tattoo for 18 years until somebody this is his story, somebody told him it was a Nazi tattoo while he was running for Senate this year, and then he got it covered up.
Yeah.
That just feels unbelievable.
See, that's the part where it's like, I don't know where I am. Because it's like, I totally believe that, like, I did not know what the fuck a Totenkopf was.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anyone in my life other than you that would know what a Totenkopf is. And when I think about that too, and I think about like, I don't know, since I've been 18, how many times have you seen me with my shirt off?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, part of me is like, this feels entirely believable because of how much like the average person just doesn't know anything.
Yeah, but the way that we found out about this was that there was a video that came out, I'm guessing from the DSCC, like it's probably where all this is coming from. But a video came out of him dancing at his brother's wedding 10 years ago with his shirt off.
And that's the other part is like, I don't have a proclivity to take my shirt off like he does apparently.
Right. And like he might not do it all the time, but like this is how you're telling me that like nobody who saw that video, nobody who saw him doing that thought like, hey, wait a minute, that's suspicious. You know what I mean?
I don't, because it's like he's just like such a regular dude.
Yeah.
And I think it just comes with like all the things that regular dudes are, like the bad statements, the bad opinions, and the not knowing what a Totenkopf is, or just thinking that it's like a genuine skull and crossbones.
Yeah.
Because like that feels like believable to me that he just didn't like know, especially if he's talking about having to go through like these hate screenings to re-enlist for hate tattoos and gang related tattoos and whatnot. If Pete Hegseth was flagged for like National Guard duty to defend the president or whatnot because of his like, he doesn't have a Deus Vult tattoo.
Yeah, he does. It's Deus Vult.
It actually says Deus Vult.
It doesn't say it, but it's the symbol for like associated.
I know
with
he
that
has
stuff.
the Jerusalem cross and like a couple other like things that they link to extremism.
Does it say Deus Vult? I can't remember if if it's
I can't remember either.
but it's like
I just know
associated
it's
with that.
Davisveld-esque.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like if that screening happened for him and they didn't pick up the totem cough, one, I think it's less believable that the military didn't pick up on that than like a regular person in his life didn't pick up on that and say that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or if a regular person, considering that he's just a regular fucking guy, if a regular person does pick up on the idea that this is an SS tattoo, he's probably just like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And just continues going on. Because, like, there's a lot of people that, like, I don't know, if it's not a swastika, they don't know. I think there's a lot of people that don't even know about the double lightning bolts.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we're like versed in this stuff.
Exactly.
Like I know about like if I saw them, I would know obviously the swastika and the lightning bolts. The Sonnenrad I'd probably be able to
That's the
identify
black
as
sun,
well.
right?
They're the black spinning sun,
Yep.
yeah. And I guess maybe this.
Yeah.
But a lot of, I mean, Nazis stole iconography from like every single mythology, religion, like everything.
Well, that's the shitty part about it is it's like you never know what's a Nazi thing
Yeah.
because they just took everything. And neo-Nazis continue that tradition and just take everything.
Yeah, they co-opt a bunch of symbols. And I don't know if the totem cough is among those that they were like stole, but they had a ton of symbols. And I understand if not everybody knows everyone, like obviously, right?
But like 18 years though, like I totally get where you're coming from where it's like
years.
18 years.
I just like I for me that doesn't pass the smell test. Like there's no way at any point 18 years nobody was like, "Hey, what does that mean?"
Yeah.
And then at some point somebody was like, "Hey, I think that's a Nazi symbol." Like I don't know, man. It's like cuz it is one of the more prominent ones.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I don't know if I would say it's more prominent than the Sonnengrad, but the only reason I know about the Sonnengrad is because there was discourse about it during the Ukraine thing and that one Kamala shit post.
There was it's literally him. The I'm with Harris dude with the Sonnenrad tattoo. It's this guy.
Or the one where it's blonde hair, blue eyes, Kamala Harris with the gold Sonnengrad in the back.
No, I know the Sonnenrad. I initially, I think, learned about what the Sonnenrad was back when DeSantis was running for governor.
Oh, because they accidentally put it in
for president. Yeah, there was a DeSantis War Room ad that they reposted.
Oh my God.
And the edit had the Sonnenrad behind DeSantis. Like spinning. And I was like, oh shit, that's a Nazi thing.
What the fuck?
Anyways, Nazi symbols aside, other than Platner's, of course. I don't know. It seems so insane, right? Like Blackwater guy with Nazi tattoo. That's a bit much.
That fits the bill. Like, I bet there's a couple of those guys running around.
Many. It's just the question is like, do we elect them senator?
And that's where I say I'm a centrist on the issue.
Yep.
Because it's like, as much as like I think that it is a plausible story that bro didn't know, considering that it's like a skull and crossbones, like I think it's a lot easier to accidentally get a skull and crossbones that means something bad than it is to like get two lightning bolts next to each other.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, if it were lightning bolts, it'd be over.
Then it's over because like you can't, even though it's whatever. Like I think that's plausible, but it's like I feel like this like if anything was to tank an election, like this rightfully is the thing that would tank an election. And like, I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, there's a few things to consider. The first thing is like, and maybe this is just a me thing, but like, is there no middle ground between 77-year-old incumbent governor who was chosen by the Senate and left-leaning guy seemingly with Nazi tattoo? Like, is there no in between? Like, there's no guy in the middle. There is another person running for the Senate in Maine, by the way. I think his name is like Jordan Wood. He just hasn't got much motion.
I think didn't somebody let us know about him and say like he's Maine's Mallory McMorrow or some shit like that?
Well, then that's not an option.
Exactly.
I'm just wondering, like, if this is so bad, does the DSA in Maine have like no other candidate they can put up?
Is there not just another like regular-ish guy that you could like throw up there? Because like Graham Platner was not a political operative before this. To my understanding, he just kind of ran.
He was a shit poster.
Yeah, he just kind of like got clearly he was a shit poster on Reddit. Clearly he's got a big post history, but he got up and he just like ran for Senate. Can we not just find like another guy like that?
Yeah.
Shit, we could pick him off the same oyster farm or some shit. Like, like is there not something we can do there? Like, I partially understand why like Bernie is like, yeah, I still fuck with Guy. And why like
Bernie's response was crazy.
Yeah.
Because somebody asked him about it and he was like, he said something like, were you a Marine for how many tours? And it's like, dude, chill.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't see that. I just saw the general like statement of support.
No, there was a statement of support. Then immediately after this came out, somebody like pulled up on Bernie in the hallway.
Yeah.
And was like asking him a couple of questions about the statements, the Nazi tattoo and so on. And Bernie was like, Like, did you do multiple tours in Iraq for this country? And it was like, okay, Bernie, chill out, dude.
Man, come on.
He don't got the internet. He don't got the internet.
He don't got internet.
He don't know. He don't got internet. He don't got internet.
But like, yeah, and it's like partially like I get it. Like I understand like the anti-establishment fervor that would lead all of these progressives or progressive leaning people to be like, no, we still rock with him. People can change. And I fully believe that people can change their politics and have bad politics and go forward. Like, the first thing I thought of when I saw the situation is Graham Platner traded the tattoo shop owner who refuses to cover up hate tattoo constituency for the guy who really wants his hate tattoo covered up constituency. That was my first thought. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, okay. I see the thread.
But also, it's just like, he had the hate tattoo. Like, even if he didn't know, like, this is a tankable thing for a campaign, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I don't think it can be summed more succinctly than you said. Like, are these really the only two options? Like, is it really just the 77-year-old establishment pick or him?
That's what gets me is like a lot of I can't even say leftists, because it's honestly like a coalition of like center libs and leftists versus center libs and leftists who are on opposite sides.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre like field that we're seeing emerging, defending or going after Platner.
Because the Pod Save guys are like supporting him, all the way.
They gave their classic softball interview to Graham Platner, and then you also have more on the far left types like Emma Vigeland, Sam Cedar that are sort of still out to bat for him.
They're fully out to bat for him.
Yeah, but then there's other people that are like pretty far left that are saying like, hey, why the fuck would we continue to support this guy? Anyways, the thing that gets me is like we've got people either full-throated endorsement still and are going to bat for him, or are saying, like, I'm off the train, I am not in support of this guy whatsoever. It's several months until the primary.
Yeah.
Like, do we not have the time to, like, figure this out?
Like Janet Mills just entered the race.
That we have more time than Biden gave Kamala Harris. Like, do we not have any time to figure? Like, I'm sorry, it's absurd. This whole thing is absurd.
And considering, like, Janet Mills, like, you could probably have less time than Kamala Harris had and still get somebody out there that can win.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah, it's fucked up. Like, I get it. Like, I think the guy is, like, fine. Like, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. And this is not a benefit of the doubt that I extend to really, like, anybody else who had a Nazi tattoo. But it's because he gets out there and seems to sincerely espouse, like, good politics.
Well, and that's why I say that, like, we're trying to build up an understanding of who this guy is.
Yeah.
And we take into consideration every other aspect of his life. And he wasn't, like, Nazi posting for his whole life.
Exactly.
That would lead us to think that, like, this is a genuine Nazi tattoo and he just pivoted recently into left politics.
He wasn't even Nazi posting before. He was just unfortunately regular guy posting, which dudes still to this day have crazy opinions. Dudes back then had even wickeder opinions. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of the state of the country, unfortunately. Yeah. But it's like, I don't even know where to, like, move forward with this because, like, I can't go out. I don't feel comfortable going out. He's got a Nazi tattoo.
Yeah, part of it is, like, he's got a Nazi tattoo. What are we talking about, right?
Like it just feels like it's something where it's like, okay, like, unfortunately, like, your campaign may just be done. Yeah. Because even beyond what I think about him and his personal journey and whatnot, it becomes a question of, like, can you even win?
Yeah, and that's the next thing is, like, we're talking about the morality or potential meaning behind him having the tattoo. Unfortunately, that doesn't really matter much in terms of beating Susan Collins. The question is, who's going to actually win this seat that we absolutely have to pick up next year if we want any choice of winning, if we want any chance of winning back the Senate? And the Reddit comments I could look past because we could say that, like, a lot of people have a sordid internet history.
Yeah.
But the Nazi tattoo, like, can he survive ads against Susan Collins about the Nazi tattoo? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like, I just, like, don't want to be in the position when it comes to, like, even closer to, like, primary time, when the primary really heats up, or God forbid the general election, where I have to be a person who sits here and defends the guy with the Nazi tattoo.
Yeah, you want as few errors as possible.
It's an unforced error.
This feels like a big one.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, maybe there's an argument to be made about how there's a constituency there that could win him the election on the, like, I'm a changed person, blah, 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 I had this, my past doesn't define me thing, but it's like, that maybe I'm establishment living out right now. This feels like a hard sell to the electorate.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because Maine, You know, I don't know a thing about Maine, and Maine seems kind of fucked.
Maine is a white state, a very white state.
Yeah.
So this truly might not matter. The Nazi tattoo might not matter.
But it's like, even then, it's like there's going to be years where we have to deal with like J.D. Vance talking about how the Democrats elected a Nazi.
Yeah.
The Democrats elected a National Socialist.
Yeah.
The Democrats elected a guy that's got an SS tattoo.
He's a National Socialist. Yeah.
It's not something that I want to like deal with when maybe there could be a better option. Maybe there couldn't. I think the issue is far more complicated than anybody on either side of the thing wants to do. So I'm going to sit on the fence.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I love fence sitting.
I'm sitting on the fence. What can I say?
No, fence sitting goes absolutely crazy. I fuck with fence sitting.
I do.
It's hard, dude. It's hard to fucking know where to go.
Like,
from
never
here.
would I have thought, like, of all the crazy things that have happened in 2025, you got National Guard Trump, you got Trump, I don't know, maybe by the time this comes out, we're at war with Venezuela, we got boots on the ground in there. Never would I have even predicted that we would be talking about a Democrat, or a progressive candidate for Senate having a Nazi tattoo. Like, that's what?
Yeah, what are we doing, man? It's a tough situation. So I'm gonna let the Mainers figure it out.
I'm gonna let the Mainers figure it out. I think that's a good way to do it.
Seeing all this drama with Graham Platner really does make me appreciate people like Zohran and Abdul El Sayed.
Absolutely.
Like, there's just like no dirt on these guys whatsoever. And I don't think that Zohran or Abdul have like lived their lives expecting to run for these like big offices.
No, they're just dudes.
And they just seem like regular dudes, and they like aren't. There's just like no pass for them to pull up, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, we got Graham Platner controversy, Nazi tattoo, Abdul El Sayed controversy, dick too big, swag too hard, money too long.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's
swag way too hard.
Swag way too
Abdul
hard.
Controversy. Apparently, he can dunk on a regulation hoop.
Exactly. Oh my God, who would have thought that? Abdul controversy. He can throw an 80-yard deep ball. Like,
I heard he can punt too.
Abdul controversy. He caught a wicked one-arm catch. It was like way better than the famous one, but whatever.
And people are wondering, like, was he going too hard against people not as good as him?
Exactly. And people are wondering, is Abdul smurfing? No, he's just that good, guys.
Anyways, that's Graham Platner, but we got some more election news to talk about.
Yes, we do.
And that's Kamala Harris.
That is Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris has essentially soft launched her 2028 campaign.
There's been a whole lot of discourse about Kamala Harris recently. Some that we've been in the crosshairs of.
Oh yeah,
for the past like month since she started this whole like book tour and promotion of her book that we read. And if you haven't checked out the interview, please checked out the review. Please check it out. It's one of our best works, one of our magnus opus, I would say. But there's been a lot of discourse going on since then about whether or not people should protest her or talk about her because she's a private citizen who just wrote a book and was a historical figure.
You know, maybe we are truly centrists because we've gotten called out for saying, hey, we should do harm reduction voting.
Yep.
But also saying, hey, Kamala Harris kind of sucks.
Yep.
Call us fence sitters.
Yeah, look at me standing on the fence, balancing on that shit like crazy.
Yeah.
Balancing on that shit like Simone Biles. Come on now.
But yeah, Kamala Harris recently did an interview, and we talked about it with the book, of course, but she recently did an interview where she was asked, like, are you going to run in 2028? And she was like, well, I'm considering it.
Insane statement already. Like, that's basically just a launch.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it seems like we're truly at a point with some people on the Democratic side that it's like, you're just not allowed to criticize Democrats ever. And it's like, wow, we're 3 years away from a presidential election. Can we not say like, hey, I don't want to vote for her?
Exactly. Like, can we not say like we've tried that? Like we tried to like vote for her. Like she had a run, it didn't work out, and like whether or not it was totally 100% her fault or not, it's past the time. Like a lot of this feels kind of like any excitement for Kamala running again feels like the same kind of what's it called, like seniority politics that has plagued the Democrats throughout Congress. Yeah, where it's like, oh, I've been around, it's my turn to do this. It's nobody's turn to run for president ever. That's not how it works. You run for president and you win or you lose. And sometimes you win in a good fashion, sometimes you lose bigly. Yeah. And unfortunately, she lost bigly and lost in like a historic way. And it's like, okay, maybe your time's up. Yeah. Like maybe sometimes we don't need to keep repeating things to spare the feelings of like a few specific people who just find themselves to be powerful. Maybe sometimes the bag is just fumbled and it's a combination of multiple people's faults, but we have to realize that our time came and our time went. And it didn't happen. And you got to give up on it. It's like a fucking athlete that refuses to admit they're past their prime.
Yeah. And it's like she wrote a book, man. Like it's all of her introspections to the extent that she's willing to offer them are on paper.
Yeah.
And you can go
and they're
read the
not
book.
introspections. Let me tell you, they're not worth anything. It's not
Yeah.
any sort of like self-critical anything. It's just everybody was unfair to me. And it's like, if I wouldn't have read the book, maybe I would be more open to the idea of her running. I say more open on it's a relative scale. I'm still not open to her running again, considering our election postmortems, but it's like, after seeing the total lack of introspection, the total lack of accountability in almost every facet of that campaign, I'm even worse on a Kamala Harris run in 2028.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I don't want it, and I think most people probably don't want it.
Yeah,
like I'm sure she's probably the favorite in like a group of, you know, pick the 10 most popular Democrats or whatever, the 10 most known Democrats. Like she's probably at the front because she was the vice president and she ran for president last time around.
And at that point, it's like a name recognition thing.
But it's like, why would we run the person who just ran a campaign and lost and has no real understanding of why she lost?
Yeah.
It's not good, man.
But I think the bigger problem is that the DNC has no understanding of why she lost, or at least like the DNC and the party apparatus, the establishment has no understanding of why she lost and refuses to engage with any criticism of them in figuring out like why they lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just all sucks bigly. And now she's got the audacity to soft launch a campaign after people have been defending her for a month, after one protester pulls up and yells at her at a book tour where she's trying to sell a book where she talks about a genocide that she did or did not do anything in.
Yeah, no,
like,
and that's the part that gets me is like a lot of people straight up just do not accept criticism of Kamala Harris or like establishment Democrats broadly. And at that point, it's like, why even have a primary?
Yeah.
Like if we can't criticize Democrats, if we can't choose among them who we like the most, what's the point? You know, fuck it. Why even have a democracy at that point?
Yeah.
Maybe we should just take whatever shit they give us, because clearly some people don't like it when you criticize their favorite candidate because you might make them lose.
Like, it's crazy. We had a banger on Twitter. We had a banger on Twitter this week. I just, sitting on the toilet, tweeted out Blue MAGA as a quote tweet in response to this one person. This was a person who was criticizing like Zohran Mamdani, and it's germane to the point about not being able to criticize Democrats. And they said, look, Zohran, something along the lines of he went and he protested Joe Biden last year. Clearly he wants to tear Democrats apart. He protested Joe Biden. Oh no. Oh no, somebody criticized the president. Oh no.
And again, they're saying Zohran tore the Democrats apart. Zohran, a Democrat, tore the Democrats apart. Maybe it was the president having a terrible policy on Israel and Gaza that tore the Democrats apart, and not the people who are reacting to that policy.
And it's just like, you can't criticize the president?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what do you mean I can't say, oh, I don't like that thing that guy did?
Yeah, no, it's a profoundly undemocratic way to handle criticism.
Yeah.
Like, and it's the thing again where it's like the left is so weak that we should ignore and marginalize them, but also they're so strong that their criticism will tank our elections and make Republicans win.
Yeah.
Like, which is it, man?
I'm saying.
It can't be both at the same time. If the left is responsible for Harris losing, which I would argue she isn't, but if that's the idea that the far left made her lose because of criticism surrounding Gaza and such, then maybe you should have capitulated to them a bit.
Yeah, maybe you should have like moved the needle.
Because then she would have actually won. But instead, they completely ignored the left and just blamed them for their loss.
Instead, they went the other way
to avoid any real introspection as to why, like, Democrats might not be performing in the way they want them to.
And it's just so silly because, like, I fully accept, and most Democrats fully accept that, like, MAGA is a cult. Like, a lot of the people that follow Trump just kind of blindly follow Trump and do whatever he says. It doesn't matter what lies he tells. It doesn't matter what happens. But it's like, a lot of these Democrats do the same thing and act the same way. It's just not as, like, aesthetically brutal.
Yeah.
But it's still like cultish to say that you can't criticize the president, the most criticizable human being in the world.
Or
like,
someone running for president.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, if you are running for president, you are signing up for scrutiny.
Yeah.
You should be signing up for scrutiny. You are signing up to be the most powerful person in the country. That should, in fact, put you under a microscope. Yeah. In fact, most people should be mad at you all the time.
And so much of the criticism from the left of Kamala Harris, or just of Democrats broadly, is because we want them to be better.
Exactly.
Like, we want them to adopt positions that we think would be more popular and more in line with, I don't know, morality. And when they don't do that, when they enable the far right to do some atrocious things, then yeah, they deserve criticism.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking politicians.
And it's just like, a part of me wants to say this kind of feels like why regular people don't fuck with, like, one, politicians, politics, or people who are political.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these motherfuckers are just running around like it's a cult.
Yeah.
And just running around doing this annoying thing. And honestly, one of my biggest fears in my personal life is being perceived as one of these people who's saying you can't criticize the goddamn president because he's Joe Biden.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like some people genuinely think that, like, shoving your finger in the face of voters and saying, what, do you just want Republicans to win, is actually an an acceptable or effective strategy at winning
like,
elections.
that's the exact opposite of how I want to do politics.
Yeah.
And I know that sometimes like we get on this podcast and I don't talk to you guys like how I would talk to a regular voter. That's because you're a political audience that's already bought into what I have to say.
Yeah.
So it's like I can get on here and be a little silly, goofy, be a little funny.
Yeah.
But like I'm not talking like that to regular people because I'm trying to like win voters over.
Mm-hmm.
And even with this, I'm trying to win voters over. So like most of the things that we do in here are geared towards like getting people to understand what's going on. And part of that is just kind of shitting on the Democrats too.
Yeah.
Because what people hate the most about politics is the team sports of it all.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people don't buy into politics as a system, as politics as a vehicle to make their life better. Because when they go out and they look at the people who are doing politics, the people who are the most in their face about it are the people who are annoying in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And they are politicians who just get up there and like lie.
Yeah. In summary, you are allowed to forcefully criticize your politicians, especially those that you think you can pull further to the left to be better. And I will say, Democrats are responsible for winning votes.
Yeah.
Like you do have to like try to win votes.
In fact, that's like your one job.
Yeah, like that's what you're supposed to do. And that's like I do think harm reduction voting is still good, right?
Of course.
Like on an individual level, I'll tell people, especially if they're on the left and like agree with me already, like, hey, if we want to bring about a certain world or bring about a certain set of policies, the best way to do that is to vote for the least bad option in a general election, right? That's the strategy. But at the same time, for the candidates that are running, the best strategy to win is by winning votes and persuading people. And I think you do that by adopting policies that I find popular and good and inspiring.
Yeah.
Like that's just politics. And I don't know why this is making so many people angry.
Why is it so hard to understand? Why is it so hard to understand that you should believe in things?
But I did say I had some breaking news for Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Because Kamala Harris is essentially running in 2028.
Yeah.
And it's been all but confirmed that somebody else is going to be her competitor.
Gavin Newsom?
Gavin Newsom.
Gruesome Gavin Newsom, baby. Let's go.
I got a headline here from The Guardian from last night. It says Gavin Newsom confirms he's considering a 2028 presidential run. The quote is, quote, "Yeah, I'd be lying otherwise," Newsom said in response to a question on whether he would give a serious thought to a White House bid after the 2026 elections. "I'd just be lying, and I'm not. I can't do that."
Man.
So he's looking forward to a presidential run, man. It's something everyone expects.
Most predictable news ever.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. God fucking damn it.
So we've got a field of at least two right now: Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, because both of them are running. Both of them are running.
Yeah.
And then maybe some other people can fill in the blanks there. It's not looking great.
Yeah.
It's not looking great for our prospects. Hopefully a progressive comes through. Hopefully a progressive comes through that doesn't have a secret Nazi tattoo. But only time will tell.
Yeah, hopefully. I guess we'll just have to wait and fucking see. But that's election news for today, and it sort of pairs well with the conversation you're about to hear about ranked choice voting in the state of Michigan. If you want a better electoral system where you can actually like have a say in how things are going to function, and maybe not just choose one person out of like 7 in a primary field, then maybe consider ranked choice voting, which is what we talked about in this interview.
Yeah, I was gonna say in this episode we have talked about the idea that like we can't pick our best candidates, and like even beyond that, there's this working within the party infrastructure because you have to, because third-party candidates aren't viable. I think if we did ranked choice voting, it'd make a lot of things better, and we'd be able to get a lot more politicians that actually like, I don't know, represented us, and we'd be able to actually pick our first choice instead of having to do like the most harm reduction thing every time.
Yeah, it's pretty sick and cool. So I hope you enjoy this conversation, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great weekend.
We are now happy to be joined by Joe Spaulding, the campaign director for Rank My Vote here in Michigan. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on, Jeremy Engage. This is a great opportunity for a campaign, but also I'm just kind of happy to be here and talking to some folks that I know are really well informed and can speak to the issues that matter to voters. So this is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, first off, can you explain your position, what it is you're doing, how you got here, and anything else you think is necessary for our listeners to know?
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. So I am, folks know me around the Ottawa County area as one of the guys that led the campaign against the far-right takeover of the county government. The Ottawa Impact story is pretty well known. We're not fully past that. A lot of those folks are still in office, but we've broken the majority, and so I've kind of moved on.
Doing God's work.
Yeah, thank you. But prior to that, I was the strategist on the petition that ended gerrymandering in Michigan, and so when
The independent redistricting
yes.
commission.
Very important work right there.
Yeah, and at the time it was the largest grassroots ballot initiative petition in the history of the state. And now I'm on what I think is now the largest grassroots ballot initiative petition in the history of the state. Once again, trying to bring ranked choice voting to Michigan as campaign director for Rank My Vote.
We got a mover and shaker over here.
I guess. Yeah. So no, I mean, like one of the very big behind the scenes. Like for me, everything is about empowering volunteers. So while you'll see other petition programs, generally the story is that they acquire a massive pile of money. They have a sugar daddy or sugar mama that's able to fund them on a specific issue in a specific way, and they pay for signatures. They get on the ballot, and then they just spend millions on TV ads. That's not the program I run. So we run full, true grassroots. We have 2,000 people out in the field today getting ink on paper. We're going to have hundreds of folks across the state on Saturday at the No Kings rallies, making sure that we're kind of doing some spreading of democracy. And, if folks want to come in and invest in that architecture and that infrastructure that we've built from the ground up, we're okay with that. But we're not driven by the billionaires. And in fact, when you look at the reasons why we need ranked choice voting, it's because today our politics is defined by stacks of money from out of state being spent on character assassination, on negative attack ads. And I got to tell you, if you look at what's driving voter turnout down in any situation, it's almost always toxicity and negativity. And bring that back to Ottawa Impact and a county government that was taken over, and we almost wrecked our AAA bond rating, which is super important for the folks in the county.
Of course.
That situation was only enabled by low voter turnout. You had this extremist organization show up, and they completely took over the county government, and they were only able to do that because voter turnout in the primaries in the Republican Party was so low because of all the toxicity. And what's the consequence? Well, we end up with folks like Christina Caramo running one of the major political parties in the state, and obviously directly into the ground because Donald Trump had to step in and intervene and put in Pete Hoekstra. They had their headquarters. They had their party headquarters at a UPS store.
That's insane. Weren't they going broke?
I was about to say, they were broke.
Weren't they having massive
money
problems?
Yeah, they had no cash. Cash.
MIGOP sucks.
Good for us, but crazy thing to happen.
And a tremendous opportunity for Elon Musk to come in and buy an entire government. You know how that goes too. So they desperately needed that funding from Musk. And for him, he wasn't going to invest it in Christina Caramo because he's a lot bit racist. And so we end up with Pete Hoekstra coming in, and the kind of cherry on top of this thing that folks don't really know is that in Ottawa County, the Republicans are fractured completely in half. We see this reflected nationally too, with Mike Johnson and Trump and the Senate Majority Leader not necessarily getting along too well behind closed doors, which is something you all talked about last show. But it's a lot more fractured inside the Republican Party. And so when they put Pete Hoekstra, who famously is from Holland, in charge of this entire party for a little bit, just for the election last cycle, man, that was a strong signal to the Republicans in my county that they had stepped over the line with their extremeness. And
it's a very intentional choice to be like a grassroots focus. Like, we're going to be volunteer first. We're going to get people on the ground who are spreading the word, rather than focusing on appeasing maybe 1, 2, or 3 donors who are going to give you bags of cash to go and do TV ads.
Yeah. So when you run volunteer programs, you bring attention to the entirety of the ballot. You go up and down the entirety of the ballot. And so you end up increasing turnout for, smaller, more local elections, which is just super important.
We saw that in 2022.
We saw it in 2022. That was super important. We had reproductive freedom for all on the ballot. And, voters really, really like taking their future into their own hands. So one of the things that we're up against with Rank My Vote is pure voter apathy and the fact that voters are staying home because they're sick of it all. They're sick of it all, and they're sick of the lack of choice. And some of our opposition are out there today saying that the thing that's keeping voters home is that they get confused by an overabundance of choices. And we're here to break that lie in half. That is nonsense.
Of course.
Before we get too much further, I do want you to explain what ranked choice voting is for someone who might not know what it is, and why it's necessary for our state.
This is a really good question. And ranked choice voting is the simple explanation I give folks, is that it's a improvement in the way that we vote. Instead of putting one dot in one bubble next to one name, we're ranking our candidates in order of preference, first, second, third. If your first choice can't win, your vote still counts for your second choice. And the other key component of this is that the winner needs to have 50% support in order to win. Why do we need this? The thing that I say is that voters are actively punished today, and they're punished for something extremely weird. And it gets back to the lower turnout issue. They're punished when they're given more choices. If a third candidate runs in a race, say a true independent runs in a race, the winner only needs 34%. So, a fourth candidate runs, though, and the winner only needs 26%. Why are those two numbers important? Because you have a two-party system where two candidates are running. That third independent interloper steps into that thing and breaks it up.
Yep.
The winner only needs 34%. What do the parties do? Sometimes, they run somebody with a similar name to that independent candidate in that same race. So their winner only needs, their winner only needs 25, 26% in order to win. And they can weaponize a split ballot.
People are playing a lot of games.
Right. This happens. And it's happened, this is so not endorsement of any candidates because I don't do endorsements of candidates. We're a nonpartisan organization, but this happened to Mike Duggan when he ran as a write-in candidate the first time he ran for mayor. The Democratic Party put Mike Duggan on the ballot because they knew he was a write-in, and they had to, you put a write-in, you have to spell their name right if you want your vote to count. They put a Mike Duggan with a different spelling on the ballot there, and he still ended up winning. Those types of dirty tricks are available right now. They're not available under ranked choice voting. The other thing that's super important is something that we saw in New York City, which uses ranked choice voting in their primary, right, for mayor, is that ranked choice voting results in winners that are more representative of the people that vote for them, and then higher turnout in successive elections because the government actually reflects the people and the will of the people.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at, say, the Supreme Court just looking at trying to gut the entirety of the VRA, right? This is the cornerstone of voter protections in this country. We need the VRA, and the Supreme Court is ready to say, let's have an open season of gerrymandering with no restrictions by gutting the VRA. If that happens, and we talk about federalism, we talk about we are living in a beautiful state in Michigan, and we do have some extra protections that other folks don't have. We need ranked choice voting because it delivers those representative turnouts and those representative outcomes of elections that right now are only available to us when the VRA intervenes in different districts and might not be available to us next year. Once again,
ourselves,
we're facing bring it back to reproductive freedom for all, right?
Yeah.
In 2022, people were not paying attention to this. There were folks out there that were actively trying to get ink on paper for this petition. They couldn't make it happen. As soon as the Supreme Court decision leaked saying they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade, there were lines around the block signing up. And I was right in the middle of that petition seeing that happen. And I was very, very happy to see that outcome and see the protection come to Michigan. I wish that protection would be available to everybody in every state, but it's not. So that's the option that we have. When it comes to Michigan, we're one of 13 states that allows citizens to get ink on paper to put a question on the ballot.
Yeah.
You were talking about how sometimes parties will play these dirty tricks to try and lower the threshold to get their candidate to be able to win a race, and how confusion often muddies the waters in the system that we have right now. A lot of people say that ranked choice voting is confusing. I think it's silly.
It's the main argument I see.
The main argument is that it's going to be too confusing for people. Can you just dispel that?
Yeah. So it's really, really funny to me when people make this argument because we have a Lego demonstration that we give to people of all ages, and there's a video online with over 750,000 views that some random TikTok person posted of one of our demonstrations as we're giving it to their 8-year-old son. And 8-year-old son watched this Lego demonstration, had no problem understanding what ranked choice voting is, right?
Easy.
So here is the thing about this too. We use ranked choice voting in Michigan right now. The parties use it in their primaries for AG and Secretary of State. Your entire life.
Because the party conventions decide those candidates.
Yeah,
right?
it's not a thing that regular people are going and voting.
Right, it's not everybody. You have to be a party member to do it.
Yes.
But it's a caucus system. A caucus is a modified ranked choice voting system.
That's right. Yeah.
Everybody needs more than 50%. The winner needs more than 50% to win. It's like the difference between tennis and table tennis, right? Like tennis is table tennis, but you're standing on the table. A caucus is a ranked choice voting ballot that you're standing on top of, and so the voters they move from one table to the next. Everybody's at a table next to a candidate.
Yeah, the Iowa caucus is
sure, exactly.
It's ranked choice voting.
Exactly. And I heard Mayor Pete said that at the Iowa caucus, but he's not saying that right now, which is interesting to me. But
we got many thoughts on that.
I've heard you say, So, but no, in a caucus system, everybody goes to their table and everyone can see who has the fewest votes. They don't just stand next to that table all night. The people with the fewest votes, they move to their second choice. When you go to the grocery store to get ice cream, and you want to get your favorite choice, they don't have your favorite flavor there, you don't go home without ice cream, right? You get your second favorite flavor.
Yeah.
That's at the core of ranked choice voting.
You go in with an idea of what you want, and then they don't have it, and then you get the second thing you want.
And you can still just rank one person.
That's correct. The ways that you vote today are all available, including straight party voting. If you want to mark your party at the top and have your entire ballot get filled out for you, that's still available.
So what other races would it apply to other than just the general election?
So this is really important too. So we're looking just at the top of the ballot, the seats that voters are most familiar with. So we're looking at changing the way that those elections happen into a ranked choice voting ballot at in the presidential election, U.S. Senate, U.S. Congress. And then in the state level, we're looking at governor, AG, and secretary of state. General election changes. We're also changing the primary for all of those except for secretary of state and attorney general, because those are currently modified ranked choice voting systems.
Yeah.
So they do require that majority consensus behind the thing. One of the interesting things that I've found talking to politicians, most of them have been Democrats, admittedly. There's some Republicans that I've talked to about this issue. But all of them invariably there's one exception I'll talk to later, but come to this position where they're like, Joe, I understand the value of ranked choice voting. We're ready to get on board. What's an endorsement look like? Or some of them come to this other space where they're like, Joe, I see the value for the primary because it would help out the party, build consensus, and we wouldn't have to spend so much on attack ads during the primary, come out a little cleaner. I don't really see the value in the general election. It's escaping me. Meanwhile, all of us living in reality are on this precipice of political violence. And we're like, no, if it's good to lower drama after the primary for the party, it's good to lower drama for the general public after the general election. And we need this change. And here's the thing, it. So
it would be fantastic to see things like cross endorsements like we saw in New York City with Brad Lander and Zohran and a bunch of other people, honestly. Like I think that'd go a long way to lowering the temperature.
Well, also for a general election, it makes independence viable. And I can understand why people within like the two major parties don't want independence to be viable and wouldn't support that outside of a primary. But like it allows people to have these runs and not be labeled as spoilers. Correct. And not get supported.
Yeah, and I'm not going to throw shade at. No, I might. No, who knows? But like
we're big fans of throwing shade.
Yeah, I hear this. Yeah, so like looking at the parties, this is so disappointing to think back about the history of politics in America in my lifetime and think about the parties have drifted into being marketing firms. They are marketing firms. They are not permanent infrastructure for candidates that want to run at all levels of government.
They're not even people that believe in things a lot of times.
Yeah, we had to build from the ground up in Ottawa County to step up and protect the entire county. Democrat, Republican, it worked, yes. But like, people try to step up and protect themselves from local encouragement. Dickinson County, far quarter of the UP up there, right?
Okay.
Their county commission just banned, or they just defunded 4-H because apparently growing cabbages and raising sheep is woke, and like
many such cases.
Yeah,
precisely.
So the citizens just aren't having it, and they're just coming up like, we want 4-H funding. We want our kids doing farm stuff in rural Michigan, which makes sense to me, having been to rural Michigan and having been on farm. But like. They defunded 4-H, deeply unpopular, and what's their reaction? It's predictable. It's the same thing that happens in Ottawa County when they take over on the issue of anti-COVID protections, is what they came in on. We're looking at banning 4-H, people coming up and speaking out finally at their county government, and the county government's just like, oh, we're going to implement a dress code, and we're going to have some rules about speaking. If you're too disrespectful, we're going to have the sheriff kick you out of the meeting.
We're going to do decorum instead of politics.
Yeah.
Man.
And I was like, that's not what county government is. That's not what the Open Meeting Act allows. And at the same time, there's no playbook, there's no permanent infrastructure. Dickinson County just got a Democratic Party this year. They got a county party this year, and this is their first challenge. And the state party, they try to get up there, they try to have some face time, but they can't do real organizing, and they're not there yet.
Now, anytime we get these big ballot proposals that really want to change things, I think in the direction of more democracy, there are a billion legal challenges that pop up. So I want to ask you if that's what your organization is facing right now, and if you foresee any of these legal challenges stifling the possibility of this making this happen.
Yeah. There's a strange understood rhythm to how these petition programs work out.
Every single time.
Yeah. And so, this is absolutely true. It's going to happen. It's not like the anti-voter people are particularly judicious about how they spend money to quash voter rights. but they do choose to not go to that league. They're preparing their legal strategy. They deploy it after we get our signatures turned in. So we turn in the signatures. That starts with them trying to invalidate these signatures.
So they're trying to waste your resources as well, waste all this time and effort you spent.
That's right. And so in Ottawa County, we ran a recall petition there. They challenged every single signature we sent in, including mine and my grandma's. And,
cool.
Yeah.
So these people just have time and money on their hands.
Heritage Foundation guys, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of heritage opposition to the stuff I do for some reason.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they in Ottawa County, they definitely waste a lot of time and energy. And, frankly, that was anticipated. We anticipated that they were going to try the legal route, which is incredibly expensive and exhausting. And they were going to try to grassroots it because they didn't have legal money. And they exhausted their volunteer corps. They also tried to go for 2 petition programs against 2 other non-Ottawa impact county commissioners. They exhausted themselves doing that. Petitions are hard, and if you don't make sure your volunteers are well informed about the mission and about how well you're progressing, you end up in a place where they might burn out and they might not want to do politics next cycle. That's not acceptable. Ran gerrymandering. Our volunteers were well trained, and some of them are now members of the state house.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, and you could always have your volunteers lie to people because that's legal to do in the state of Michigan. This is
not these volunteers, but
for those that don't
happen.
know. In Michigan, the people that go out and collect petitions or collect signatures for petitions, they can just lie to people about what the petition is,
which is patently insane.
Psychotic.
That's damn near anti-democratic. I don't know. Like, it's just not.
Yeah, being an informed citizen is like maybe the most important part of a democracy.
Yeah, and so I encountered one of these people on the way over here at a rest stop. So they're out there circulating their anti-voter petition and trying to make it so you have to show a passport equivalent in order to get your voter registration.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he's just like, you want to make it easier to vote? I'm like, what did you say to me?
Yeah.
What did you just say to me?
You don't know who you're talking to, buddy.
Wow. Well, we had a conversation. It was fun. I mean, for me. And then I headed off over here. But yeah, in Michigan, you can lie about petitions. You can say literally whatever you want. It's really unfortunate. And there's definitely video online of folks on those anti-voter petitions making some untrue claims. We train our volunteers on being able to represent ranked choice voting in an honest and straightforward way. We have faith in the program that we're bringing into Michigan.
Yeah,
That's why we have 2,000 people out there doing work for free to make this change happen. So.
Yeah, if you need to lie to people that you're trying to get signatures from, maybe that tells you something about the
What you're trying to
content
sign,
of the proposal. Yeah,
and it's always interesting to me, like these like nonpartisan initiatives, because like something like ranked choice voting is like truly like a nonpartisan thing. It's just making elections better, making elections easier.
Damn near anti-partisan.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, shit, it would make the never Trumpers more represented. I don't like those guys, but like it's better for democracy. And it's always funny who ends up opposing these things. The Heritage Foundation opposition. It's like it becomes partisan because of the opposition.
Yeah, there's this. So speaking of the opposition, speaking of funny, there's this picture that someone from actually Distill Social took and put on the internet of former GOP chair Michon Maddock and current GOP rep Matt Maddock, just confused
Power
as
couple.
all hell, looking at a spreadsheet because they're trying to do the AG tabulation for their party convention, which is a ranked choice voting election. Those folks are genuinely confused by ranked choice voting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the 8-year-olds that watch the Lego video, they've got it. Matt Maddock and Michon Maddock, they're a little bit slower, I
And that's
guess.
another thing, because once again, still on this ranked choice voting being so confusing, that's the claim thing. When your volunteers are going out and they're collecting signatures for this petition and they're explaining it to people, what's the kind of responses that they're getting?
They're getting, is this going to be easier to get independents elected? And people are thrilled.
Yes.
So really, is this going to give me more choices? And they're just thrilled. Is this going to make it so I can vote multiple times against the guy I really don't like? And then we say yes, and then they get thrilled. So like, this is, and it's not multiple votes, right? It's
multiple rounds.
Yeah, it's multiple rounds. It's one person, one vote. This is actually something the opposition does bring up. And if there is somebody that we encounter in the field, that is the most likely thing that they say other than confusing. It's one person, one vote. And the way we know it is because ranked choice voting is also called instant runoff voting.
Yep.
Runoff elections are one person, one vote. And in fact, the military in the South, right, where they use runoff elections, if they're deployed overseas, use ranked choice voting ballots because it's a way for them to signify how they would vote in any given runoff situations. Nobody is going after trying to make it hard for the military to vote,
of course.
which is what a ban on ranked choice voting would do.
So it seems like when we want to make things easier, we kind of default to doing a ranked choice situation.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It is the most efficient and cost-effective way that we can make sure we have majority support behind the whenever candidate.
Conservative argument for it saves taxpayer money.
Well, it doesn't make sense to go and have a runoff election. Like, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually kind of stupid to not just have people
Shout out Georgia.
choose who they want to like put in. Why have people go out and vote again when getting people out to vote is like the hardest thing to do in general?
Lower turnout, twice as expensive. If you have the actual runoff, you do the instant runoff, you have higher turnout, and it's half as expensive. This is simple math. It is conservative from a fiscal standpoint. It's also Republican. You know, all those folks that go out there saying, we live in a republic, not a democracy. It's a republic, not a democracy. Well, from a smaller Republican perspective, the core of Republican governance is majority rule. Like, you go back to colonial days, conservatives actually do love hearing this argument too. You go back to colonial days, and folks actually had to ride in their wagons to the town square every week until there was a majority consensus behind a candidate before they selected the winner. So when folks go out like America is going to fall apart if it takes an extra day for an election result, which, by the way, ranked choice voting, 79% of the election results are determined within 24 hours of the election itself.
The New York election, we came in quick.
Yeah. Like, if it's like, usually you have large differential, it's easy to tell who the winner is.
Yeah.
But like, back in the day, folks would go week after week to go vote until they got to that majority rule, because the majority rule was that important. Now, a lot of really, really good people were excluded from voting at the time. You know, people of color, women. At the same time, they knew that they needed to have that majority consensus in order to move forward as a country, and we don't have those same forces forcing majority consensus. We have forces doing the opposite. When we go back to gerrymandering, the reason we ended it here was because gerrymandered districts allow the candidates that win to only speak to the slimmest minority, the slimmest margin, just like 4 or 5%. That's who they have to talk to. Sometimes it's like 15%. Earn their vote, you win. That's not democracy. That's not a way to get to a republic.
Yeah. Now, to me, ranked choice voting, I mean, we've been for years saying that I wish I could like put a third party candidate on top, then somebody else and somebody else. Like, we've been saying this for a long time. And there are other places in the country right now that do this. Obviously, New York City is the most prominent one right now. I believe Maine also has ranked choice voting to some extent.
Statewide, Maine and Alaska use ranked choice voting.
And Alaska, that's right.
Yeah, two of the more independent states.
Conservative Alaska.
Conservative Alaska. It's a way for them to maintain their independence, and you actually see that. Like, you see Murkowski for what it is. You know, she made that vote in the big beautiful bill. She didn't do that because she's like, I'm a Trumpist at heart, right? She's like, no, Alaska, we got the bacon brought home for us on this thing, and that's what we're going to do. For her, it was a vote for her constituents. I'm not defending her position. I'm not defending big beautiful bill.
She said it was agonizing.
She said it was agonizing, right? But like, at the end of the day, like, her ability to vote either way was based on what her constituents were saying. And that's what we see. When we see ranked choice voting being used, we see the people that win speak more to the voters that elected them.
Because it kind of insulates you from that like top-down pressure of, oh, you didn't do what I like, you're a rhino, so we're going to primary you, we're going to get you out of here, and you never have a chance. When you have ranked choice voting, you can speak to your constituents more rather than speaking to party bosses.
So you are familiar with the top-down negative partisan focus of the Republican messaging infrastructure nationwide?
Yes.
I don't think anybody can not be aware of that.
So,
everywhere.
So let's break up the mystery as to why the Republicans in the Michigan State House, like, instantly, faster than they passed the budget, went to ban ranked choice voting. And that's because their messaging infrastructure is all based on negative partisanship and getting the exact talking points from D.C., from consultants in D.C., often from the Heritage Foundation.
Evil people.
Yeah,
like
Project 25.
These people do not represent their constituents. They represent whoever is telling them what they need to go tell their constituents, and then they just so happen to end up voting for them.
Didn't they try to eliminate property tax? Or am I just
That's like a
imagining
new
things?
thing that
Oh,
I
is it
think
a new thing?
conservatives
Okay.
want to do. They want to get rid of property
It'd be
tax.
the end of the state, by the way.
Dude,
It'd be over.
we hate consultants here on this podcast. It's just not it's a dirty, evil word. And I'm brought back to the State of the State address last year, where I was watching like Fox coverage before the actual address, and there was a Democratic consultant on there saying, I think we need to get rid of property tax and be more like Texas. Oh my God. Sorry, that's just an aside.
Oh, that's fine.
It's just, oh God.
But I ask about New York City and I ask about Maine and Alaska, of course, because there's often this argument that ranked choice voting will produce more extreme candidates. What do you think about this argument?
Yeah, so folks ask me extremeness. They ask me, does it benefit Republicans? Does it benefit Democrats? It benefits voters.
Yeah,
it benefits the voters. It gives them more options, and it actually leads to candidates that are more focused on the issues that matter to those voters at the local level, kitchen table issues that matter to them. And it doesn't, like the extremeness, it doesn't. It leads to candidates that are a little bit more free from that partisan framework. It's a situation right now where we have the politics of fear and the politics of negativity driving turnout down, and bad actors take advantage of it. Ranked choice voting increases the amount of people that run for office. It increases the demographic and ideological diversity of the people that run for office. And what we actually end up having is a campaign season that's more cordial, more about the issues, and the voters actually get to talk about what they're voting on instead of marketing from the top.
And it seems to me like the system itself isn't sort of predisposed to producing any type of candidate, because New York City's ranked choice model produced both Eric Adams and now it seems like Zohran Mamdani. So it doesn't seem like it's predetermined in that way.
And it's just funny because the extremism that we have now is very much right-wing extremism, and it's right-wing extremism throughout every single level of the federal government and even in state governments here in Michigan. And the extremism that people who don't like ranked choice voting talk about are like Zohran Mamdani, who wants free and fair bus. Like
it's not equal.
Can we note that we're looking at a 30-year record turnout high in that election too?
Yeah.
So voters are just like the people that are saying that stuff are stomping on the will of the voters, like just absolutely stomping on the will of voters. And it wasn't like it was a flippant process. Like we said, there was a lot of cooperation, a lot of collaboration between multiple candidates, because that's what ranked choice voting produces. And here's the kicker on top of all of that. They toppled the billionaire. Right? They toppled the billionaire. They toppled the big stack of money using actual democracy. How cool is that?
Yeah, and Zohran ran like a campaign. Like, I think they knocked like $1 million in the primary. It's not just a product of ranked choice. He actually tried really hard.
Is that cross-candidate collaboration not what all this reaching across the aisle, bipartisanship, bipartisan bill passing that Democrats signal about nationally is really about? It's about politicians coming together to get something done.
Yeah, but
to actually win power.
Yeah, but let's do this under the auspices of having actual voter support behind the actions that are being taken.
Yeah.
We really, really, really want the will of the voters being able to be expressed. We're seeing a decreasing ability to translate that will nationally, and we're having to resort to protecting our state. This isn't a very, very fun position to be in as someone who's worked on increasing voter rights over the better part of the past decade, but yet here we are. So
I don't love that states are under attack from the federal government, but it is good to see that people are doing something about it.
Yes.
Even though it's sort of in the context of having no other choice, sort of being forced.
Yeah.
But here we are.
I do want to say something for a minute, because there's this language thing that happens that I think that a lot of people across the political spectrum are talking past each other, but they're kind of saying the same thing, right? I've been to different places, different folks. The moderates are all talking about not wanting to vote for the lesser of two evils. This is a conservative and a lib thing. Yeah. You go to the progressive side, and they're talking about wanting to topple oligarchy. They're saying same party, different pants, whatever. They're different. It's all funded by the billionaire class. You go to MAGAs, right? And what do they say? They talk about the same thing. They use a different word. They call it uniparty, right? Right, but they're talking about the same factors. Every one of us feels restricted by the system that doesn't give us enough choices. And so it's been interesting to me talking to folks in private most of the time when they're politicians until they get ready to endorse. And I had this interesting conversation. Ranked choice voting has been used in Michigan exactly one time, right? In the 70s in Ann Arbor, it elected a mayor.
Okay.
It elected Mayor Wheeler. What was happening in Ann Arbor at the time to lead to that was there was a progressive group that was gaining traction, and neither the progressives nor the Democrats wanted the Republicans to take over the city government of Ann Arbor, which is a liberal progressive city, and it was in the 70s. They didn't want to see the Republican conservatives take over the city government in Ann Arbor. So they passed ranked choice voting to allow voters to express their true will without allowing that spoiler to take over the entire city government. They elected Mayor Wheeler, who is a black man. And they immediately, after a massive racist backlash, repealed ranked choice voting. Instantly happened, right?
Interesting.
So we're having a conversation about representation. And again, I'm a Latino activist. I'm an activist of color who tries to bring better representation. Both parties have not done a good job of talking to folks that look like me and my family in a very trash job of doing it. And I really appreciate the stuff you guys say last week about not providing an immigration narrative. That's one little that's one little aspect of it.
Yeah.
We're talking about better representation with a county clerk, right? I'm talking about better representation with a county clerk. And they tried to say that ranked choice voting decreases voter participation because people of color, sometimes they need more education, or there's populations that need more education. I'm just like really annoyed at hearing this because it's not. It's nonsense, right?
Of course.
You need better voter education across the board, and there's this stack of social reasons why, like, there are pockets of voters, rural voters included, that need better access to more information about voting today.
And like you said, when your volunteers or when you show people these videos with the Legos talking about ranked choice voting, it's not a hard concept to get across.
Yeah, voting is complicated. Ranking is not, right?
Yes.
Adding ranking to voting doesn't make it more complicated.
Everybody loves making tier lists.
That's tier list, tier list.
Get Gen Z on board. They love tier lists,
exactly.
man.
Tier list voting.
Yeah, bring it. No, we're going that way, and we're talking about tier lists a little bit more. Use it in Overwatch too, by the way.
Yeah,
so just
it's
start
everywhere.
Overwatch. Yeah. No, but I'm having this conversation with this county clerk. And we get into this portion about representation. I'm like, so are you familiar with the Mayor Wheeler story? And they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. But that was ancient history.
What?
And I'm like, I've done
There
work.
are people still alive.
There are people still alive. I've done work in Ann Arbor, right? Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti is extraordinarily segregated. Not many years ago, like 5.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's still true. It was the 8th most segregated county in Michigan because of segregationist zoning laws, which are still, by the way, on the books all across the state on cities.
course. Yeah.
We can talk about the redlining maps a different day, but we're deeply familiar with the history of racism in Ann Arbor. And it was undeniably a racist backlash that caused the repeal of ranked choice voting there. So to hear that from a county clerk, and to hear that it was ancient history and we shouldn't take it into account,
Come on.
Insane, man. Insane.
ask me if it was a Democrat or Republican.
What? Who was-
Honestly, yeah. What was it?
It was Lisa Brown, the clerk of Oakland County, said this to me. She's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I low-key make fun of Ann Arbor all the time for being a fake woke city. It's Ann Arbor, Grand Rapids, low-key fake woke, but
Yeah, and I am reluctant or hesitant to name names about these conversations that happen generally in private, but like the stuff, the racist nonsense on the other end of that call. It's important for voters to understand that this person is administrating elections currently in Oakland County across the board.
And also, like, if there was ranked choice voting, like, everywhere, every election, it'd be easier to get these people out because I wouldn't have to hear, like, oh, you have to pick this candidate because we need to beat the Republicans.
Yeah.
I could say I'm picking this person because they align the best with my views, and I'll rank them number 1.
That's right. And I don't want to say that this is a problem with Democratic Party clerks, because it's not. The Republican clerks are all way worse than Lisa Brown. They won't even talk to me. So, and we get lines back from them saying that they've talked to their voters and the majority don't like ranked choice voting. And there's a 0% chance that you did that. Like, because I know if I asked you what ranked choice voting is, you would not be able to tell me.
Yeah. Well, look, we really appreciate you taking the time to come on. Feel free to offer any final closing thoughts here, and definitely tell our listeners how they can help if they want to get involved.
Oh, absolutely. So if you want to get involved in ranked choice voting, go to rankmyvote.org, rankmyvote.org/donate/where-do-
and that's rank MI vote.
That's
right?
correct.
Yes,
MI
and it'll
like
be
Michigan.
linked in
So
the
yeah,
description
yeah.
below.
Yeah, and you'll see the website's really, really good. We got a nice map there with all the places people can sign. We're going to be all over the place on the 18th, and it's just a really honor to be here. So thank you, Jeremy Gage,
thank you for coming.
and being able to voice the reasons why we need this change. And it's a heavy lift. We got to get over 600,000 signatures to get on the ballot.
Yeah, that is a lot, but we're going to help in the ways we can.
Let's make it happen.
Appreciate
man.
it.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.